Hi there, everyone. I'm Dr. Randy Green. I have a question for you. Do you feel like you're chained to the problems in your life? Do you support that feeling by watching the nightly news replete with stories of financial woes, death, destruction, or gossip shows that enable you to share your astonishment with friends and coworkers the next day around the water cooler? When you awaken, do you hear that little voice in your head announcing what you can expect to go wrong today? Get the usual knot in the pit of your stomach? Ouch! And then, after all of that, do you try not to have stress to no avail? Believe it or not, stress is a series of bad choices we make, even tiny ones that go unnoticed. In large measure, it has to do with where we place our attention. So, where do people place their attention who experience stress by necessity? Where do they place that attention? It's not uncommon to hear people say that someone or something caused them to behave or feel a certain way, right? You know, Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." And to offer such consent, you must have placed your attention there. So how do we know where to place our attention at any given moment? Come to the Chamber Business Forum I'm conducting on April 9th at 7:45 a.m. sharp, and you will experience the answer to this question and much more for yourself. We're always filtering incoming information from the world before we recognize it consciously. These filters, so to speak, are our sensory modalities. You know, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, which means feeling, and olfactory gustatory. This set of filters is always present in its entirety, whole form, regardless how the attention is organized to track the data that's being filtered. What this boils down to is that someone might experience only one or two of the sensory inputs present at any given moment, say visual or auditory, even though all of them are there in that moment. We actually train our brains to notice for a certain quality of information. Too often, we train our brain to sort for problems and ways to try to avoid them. We sort for stress, and once present, we try to manage it. In short, we learn how to use our natural selves poorly. Have you ever been in a situation where, for example, during a work-related meeting, I love this, someone presents an idea. Inevitably, another person will immediately counter, raise his hand and go, he'll tell you exactly what could be wrong with that, right? And everybody goes, oh gosh. And government. Happens every day in Congress, and at home, or in school. What kinds of behaviors typically get attention? Remember in elementary school how the teacher would call on the person whose hand was not raised in response to her question, such as, who discovered America? So how do we know where to place our attention at any given moment? Again, come spend some time with me, and I will introduce you to a fundamental principle by which I operate. Ready? You want to write this down. Where you place your attention is where you get your result. Stress is a part of life, folks. It just is. It's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It's almost invisible because it's everywhere. And the best we're taught to hope for is developing a coping strategy to manage it, right? But in order to manage something, such as stress, for example, what must be true first? I'll wait. Obviously, stress must be present. One of the age-old problems we face in life is recognizing the presence of something we do not want, such as stress, and then trying not to have it. This is a paradox and will only worsen your stress, trust me. Resolving this paradox requires going where stress is simply not. And I will introduce you to the secret place, a resource you already possess that you can learn to access anytime, any place, with anyone, or even no one at all, regardless of circumstances. Now, some people among you may think, oh gosh, but with everything going on, the economy, who isn't bothered by the economy, right? This is just, this all sounds well and good, but it's not for me. I mean, there's just so much stress. I'm just so overwhelmed by it. What difference is this conference going to make? Those of you who think that life is just too overwhelming and that nothing is going to help you may choose to just rest along the shoreline of your life and just let it wash over you. Others who think it does matter will be here April 9th at this forum and learn something new that they haven't learned before. This is Dr. Randy Green wishing you the life of your dreams. So long for now.